Reading college textbooks with artificial intelligence. Hello, in this video I will show you how to use the artificial intelligence AI capabilities of Google Bard to generate summaries of college textbooks which are easier for your brain to process and learn. To demonstrate, I'm going to use the textbook Principles of Management. Principles of Management published by Rice University. Chapter 2 is Managerial Decision Making, and I want to summarize and analyze Section 2.4, Barriers to Effective Decision Making. First, go to bard.google.com. bard.google.com. This is the artificial intelligence of Google. At the bottom of the web page is a prompt box. A prompt is our request to the artificial intelligence to perform an action. And this is where we're going to put our requests, our prompts. Next, I'm going to the college textbook and to the web page that I want to analyze and summarize. And this is a standard web page. Go to the top of the web page and copy the URL, which I did here. So this is the URL to this web page. So copy it and then go to Google Bard. Type in summarize, space, and then the URL. Then press enter. So summarize and the web address. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want Google Bard's artificial intelligence to focus its processing on this web page and not use external sources. And after a few seconds, it generates an answer. Bounded rationality, time constraints, uncertainty, and biases. Also, I want to let you know in the upper right corner, you can click the speaker icon and it will read the response to you. There's also an option to view other drafts. So here it actually produced 3 different versions, which you can look and compare it. I have found that it's helpful to sometimes look at the different drafts because one draft may be better than the other. Now, once this has been set up, I think a key part of learning are 2 things. You want to summarize the material and you want to structure the material. Summarize and structure. Or keywords and context, keywords and connections. The reason being is the brain likes small, high-value bytes that are easy to process and digest. And it needs to have a context, a structure. Where do you put this information in the brain? And so that's why I do a summary of the page first. Okay, and so I think it's also good because you also want to verify. One of the safeguards that I did here is I had Google Bard focus on this page only, and then it's good to read along and verify with it. So it's a good first step to get a grasp of the material. But you should never 100% trust the output from the artificial intelligence. So we're going here: bounded rationality, escalation of commitment. Okay, didn't bring that up there, but let's look at the second one. Second draft discusses escalation of commitment. And so by reading this, we're getting an idea. So basically here, this chapter is talking about barriers, basically things that make it hard to make good decisions. Okay, so let's say on the bounded rationality, I'm interested on this particular topic here. So on this topic, I'm going to put here summarize, bounded rationality, using, and then the URL. Summarize, bounded rationality, that's the term that I want to analyze, using, and I include the URL. Press enter, and so this is giving me a specific discussion of this specific topic, bounded rationality. So good here. Bounded rationality, and it gives me a summary of it. It's a nice little format. Viewing other drafts. So especially if it's new material where I'm trying to get a grasp of, this is a good way to kind of get started. So viewing other drafts. I've also found that when you ask it about specific topics on the page, the artificial intelligence does a better job instead of going through the whole page sometimes. So this page is well constructed because it has headings. So then I can ask it about escalation of commitment, time constraints, personal biases. So that's a standard web page, and you can go topic by topic to get a grasp of things. You can also restrict the length of it. For example, I could say here, in less than 50 words, summarize bounded rationality using. So in the prompt box, in less than 50 words, summarize bounded rationality using this URL, this web address. Press enter. Give it a few seconds to think. 48 words here. Bounded rationality is the idea that decision makers are limited in their ability to process information and make rational decisions due to cognitive limitations, the complexity of the world, and time constraints. So again, remember, one of the goals is to summarize. So you want to use constraints such as summarize in less than 50 words, summarize in 3 sentences, summarize in 1 sentence. And so that's where you're going to get a lot of the value. So again, I believe that this is one of the things that using artificial intelligence is a good way to look at the material in the early rounds to get an idea of what's going on. But then later on, as you process the information, it should be you should do your own processing. So you're taking advantage of the benefits of the AI because it can go through all the different words and help you get a grasp of it initially. But then you use your own brain to process it in a more accurate, high quality fashion. So so you're taking advantage of the strengths of artificial intelligence while minimizing the weaknesses. But then you're using yourself as a human to produce the higher quality product. Also, it's important to, instead of just saying, hey, tell me about bounded rationality, it's going to draw from various sources on the web. Here we know that the source is from this URL. So that increases our confidence. And make sure you try to, once you want to look for structure and also summarize. So play around with the length. So say, hey, summarize in less than 50 words. Summarize in 3 sentences. And that's where you're going to get a lot. So once you read that, then you can look at the actual college textbook. I also believe that it's good to have it to look at it side by side. You have the artificial intelligence helping you on the right side, and on the left side you actually have the college textbook. And this will give you a more active, enriched learning process. So this is a standard web page. Now let's see what happens when we can also do that with web pages that are PDFs. So I'm going to pull up a court case. This is from the U.S. Supreme Court, and this is a court case on their web page. called Counterman v. Colorado. Now it's 57 pages and it's a PDF. So in contrast, the management college textbook is a standard web page. I also want to show you that if the information is in a PDF form, we can also use this particular technique. So what we're going to do here is you're going to go to the top of the web page and copy the URL of the Supreme Court case, which is a PDF file. And I already did that here. And this is the Supreme Court case URL right here. And I'm going to start manipulating it. Again, I'm having it focus only on this page. So I'm going to put here in 3 sentences, summarize, and then paste the URL. In 3 sentences, summarize the web address. Press enter. Okay, so it's 3 sentences. Oh, here we go. It gave you a count. 3 sentences, 49 words. Awesome. Oh, actually, I think I put the wrong link. Hold on. Let's try that again. That's a link to a different case. Here we go. In 3 sentences, summarize. Then press enter. That's it. There we go. 3 sentences, 39 words. Okay. It gives, so it's verifying that it gave me 3 sentences, and also we can look at the other drafts. We can share and export it. So I can also ask for, it's common among legal professionals to do what's called an IRAC, issues, rules, analysis, and conclusion. So I'm going to do this here. Using this URL, oh no, this I'm gonna write here this. So I wrote this. Summarize the facts, issues, rule, analysis, and conclusion for the following court case. So I'm letting it know it's a court case. Facts, issues, rules, analysis, and conclusion. IRAC. Press enter. So here we go. Here's a summary of the facts, issues, rule, analysis, and conclusion. And so from this, you could write an IRAC, issues, rule, analysis, and conclusion. You can also ask specific questions. You could say, who wrote the opinion in the following court case. Including the URL. Okay, let me see. View other drafts. Clarence Thomas. Huh. Because actually, this is not correct. Which means that's why you need to verify. Just proves that you have to verify. Clarence Thomas. Now this opinion was written by Kagan, Justice Kagan. Oh well, final lesson. That's why you need to verify. So the point of it is that just because it generates answers, one thing that I like to do is I want to isolate the source of the that the AI will be analyzing. Also, you also want to verify the information. So how can you use artificial intelligence? It's good for initial or early rounds of summary and analysis to get an idea. All right. And it's good for initial research. It's good in the beginning to kind of get things started. But then ultimately, you as a human, in order to produce a quality product, need to actually then use that as a starting point to then to move it forward. So I would say initial, early stages, but then middle and later stages and final work should be done by a human. So that's where as I've been playing around more and more with artificial intelligence. At this point, that's the most appropriate way to use it. Now, if you also include like grammar and spell check, like Grammarly, which is a type of also an artificial intelligence where you do it at the back end, then that's that. But with the Grammarly, you also had to accept the changes too. So that's where you would help. So in the beginning and in the end with Grammarly, you can do, or with Microsoft Word spell and grammar check, where you verify it, but the human has to like verify it. And so that would be the approach that I would use at this point using the artificial intelligence. I do believe that that's possible that maybe in several years the product might be improved, but look at the dictation, artificial intelligence based generated dictations. They've been working on that for over a decade, and it's finally starting to work pretty good. So know the limitations and design and engineer a workflow that takes advantage of the advantages, minimizes the weaknesses, but ultimately you as a human need to do the bulk of the work and to do the final quality check.